Final day of the final round of the 2021 WSK Euro Series. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the south of Italy. That is an active volcano in the background. It is Vesuvius, which erupted in horrific circumstances more than 2,000 years ago. I'm trying to think of a cliche about the action erupting on track. Yeah, not quite. Regardless, welcome to SARNO. This is the final day, Euro Series 2021. This is the SARNO circuit, one of the most famous kart racing circuits in the world. In a few moments, we will race the first of our four finals this afternoon, starting with, as you can see on your screen, the KZ2 final. The final round of the championship, it is a bizarre situation because the championship leader, Moraine Kramers, will not race a single lap this weekend. Before we get to that, let's check out some of the highlights of KZ2 so far here at SARNO. Emilian Denner, Kart 53 for the Intrepid Racing Team. Pole position in Friday, qualifying with a time of 53.555 around the 1.5 kilometre circuit. On board with the local boy, Giuseppe Palumba, who of course finished second in the 2020 WSK Euro Series. Riccardo Longhi, Kart 7, in brilliant form this weekend. He needs to win the race, or at least a good result to take the championship away from Moraine Kramers, his teammate, who is not racing this weekend after suffering an injury a week ago. Pedro Hilbrand for the Lennox Racing Team in Kart 10, the driver to beat. He will start the final from the front row of the grid from pole position alongside Riccardo Longhi. The Birolart team, they finished 1, 2, 3 in the 2020 WSK Euro Series. And again, they will finish virtually in that order as well. Again this afternoon, it's just a question of which driver will take the title. So there is the volcano. Yes, officially it is still active. It is 1.3 kilometers above sea level. It's a glorious summer's day. We hope it doesn't erupt this afternoon. We're sure it won't. Certainly the action on track will. There's the cliche. As you look at the grid for KZ2, to the left of your screen is Pedro Hilbrand from Blanes, north of Barcelona in Spain. The Catalan to start on pole position in Kart 10 for the Lennox Racing Team, driving for Ferrari's Italian Grand Prix winner, Charles Leclerc, who actually raced with us in the WSK Euro Series. That was for the Art GP team quite a few seasons ago now. There's Kart 7 on the outside of the front row of the grid, Riccardo Longhi. So we'll check out the situation in the virtual championship. Moraine Kramers is still the championship leader. He's on 242 points. He's not racing this weekend after suffering an injury. He won the last race 2 weeks ago at Adria, second in the series on 221 points for Riccardo Longhi and Giuseppe Palumba. Third in the series on 151 points, Alessio Piccini. Fourth on 129 points. So Birolart, 1, 2, 3, 4. The Birolart chassis, the CRY30S12, which has dominated KZ International Racing for the past few seasons. 1, 2, 3 on the grid. The Lennox Racing Machine, different colours as the 1 minute board goes up, but it is the same chassis, powered by the TM. So a good result for Riccardo Longhi, and he would retain the WSK Euro Series. He won the title in 2020 from his teammate Giuseppe Palumba. This is his home track, remember, Palumba Kart 6, Il Napolitano. On the second row of the grid alongside Emilian Denner, Kart 53, the Intrepid. Just a few moments prior to the start, the final day, the final race, the WSK Euro Series 2021. Pasquale Lupoli waves the green flag, and we're underway. We'll take a look at the grid for you, Pedro Hilbrand. We'll start on pole position for the Lennox Racing Team in Kart 10 on the outside of the front row. Riccardo Longhi, a good result, and he takes the title. Giuseppe Palumba, Emilian Denner, Lorenz Van Hoppen, and Simo Puhaka. Alessio Piccini on the podium 2 weeks ago at Adria, alongside Fabio Bifulco, the local boy on debut in WSK. Jamie Day from the Emirates, and Kaja Sixnellis, the Lithuanian, in the Energy Course Kart out of grid 10. Sixth row off the grid, Francesco Comanducci for the Drago course team. Sutumno in another Birolat, Josef Knopp, the Czech in the Tony Kart, Alex Janko for Real Racing, the driver from Bucharest in Romania. And in our three Greek drivers, Vasilios Karagiannis, Georgios Biazoglu and Nicholas Salpingidis, driving for the Cosmo Rally Kart Academy team. The boys from Thessaloniki, great to have them on debut in WSK. Crossing the Adriatic Sea for this, the final round of the series. So the second formation lap as they put heat into the Vega tyres. It does not take much effort. On a warm summer's day here this afternoon, the temperature 32 degrees Celsius on the outskirts of Naples, or Napoli, the ancient Italian city, which if we go back a few thousand years, was actually under control of the ancient Greeks. The circuit, it's not that old, it was built in the 1990s, hosted the European Intercontinental A Championships in 1999, 2003 the Formula A World Championships, which were won by the Kiwi Wade Cunningham. The New Zealander winning that title for CRG, and of course Marco Ardigo, he won the 2014 KZ World Championship here at SARNO. The WSK Euro Series, the WSK Supermasters Series. It's always a popular venue for the drivers here in the south of Italy. You could just hear our microphones picking up a strong breeze, which is picking up. It's a warm day, 32 degrees Celsius, that's been the talking point. Heavy humidity lingering in the air. The track, incredibly, we had a few drops of rain, which evaporated within a few seconds of hitting the bitumen, the asphalt surface, which was approaching near on 50 degrees Celsius throughout the weekend. Under the control of our race director, Mr. Marco Carlino, deputising for Alessandro Ferrari, there is Pasquale Lupoli on the grid, bravely standing in front of the KZ field with the red flag. Pedro Hilbrand to the left of your screen. Riccardo Longhi to the right. We welcome you to SARNO on the outskirts of Naples. This is the final day, the final round of the 2021 WSK Euro Series from Napoli. We race. Great start by Denner around the outside. Riccardo Longhi has missed the start ever so slightly. Denner closes on the back of the Catalan, Pedro Hilbrand, who leads them down into turn 2 for the first time. A slight hesitation from Riccardo. Off the start, he's back into third place. Denner works the wheel furiously. He's got the two Birol Arkarts right behind him. And Simo Puhaka, the WSK Supermaster Series champion from 2020, in position 5. Denner in second place puts the 53 Intrepid right down the middle of the circuit. A good, clean, smooth, safe start for the KZ2 final this afternoon. The Birolats muscle their way by Denner, who was in second place. He's back to 6th. Simo Puhaka capitalizes as well. The Tony Kart goes through to position 4. Remember, the championship is on the line. We'll update the virtual championship as Pedro Hilbrand leads. So with that, Longhi in third place behind Palumba. Longhi takes the championship lead by 19 points over his teammate Moraine Kramers, but we've only raced one of 17 laps here this afternoon. Palumba on his home circuit, kart 6, ahead of Longhi, kart 7 behind. Then it's Puhaka, Piccini up into P5. Here comes the Tuscan. He's on the back of Simo Puhaka. Emilian Denner goes back to P6. Another fantastic start. Fabio Bifulco. He's up into 7th place, driving the 79 Intrepid. Pedro Hilbrand, he's already gone. He's about to come around the hairpin to complete the second lap. Hilbrand in the lead. We go back to Giuseppe Palumba. There is the virtual championship in the early stages of the final. It would still be a Birolat 1, 2, 3 at the moment. Longhi would take the title, but still a long way to race. He needs to finish in the top 3. He can possibly lose at least one position, but not really any more than that to take the title. There's Denner in the background. He's right behind Alessio Piccini. Good start from Alessio. Fantastic to see the second generation racer on the podium at Adria 2 weeks ago. Emilia Denner just has a look at the back of the Tuscan, who runs in P5. Simo Puhaka in the Vortex powered Tony Kart goes position 4. So Palumba, kart 6, second place. Longhi, kart 7, third place. Pedro Hilbrand, the 2016 world champion, the Catalan, leads them across the line. And he's got a 1 second lead over the two Birolats behind him. Longhi now with a 54.276, starting to recover from not the best start. Will try and get by his teammate Giuseppe Palumba. They went wheel to wheel in the pre-final. Nervous moments for the Birolat owner, Ronnie Sala, as the yellow flag comes out. Try and pick up who that is for. We believe it is for one of our Greek racers here this weekend who have come to grief. Coming onto the back straight, indeed it is. We have lost in the early stages of the race, Georgios Biazoglu. Unfortunate for kart 77, the energy course kart has retired. And it's a trip back over the other side of the Adriatic Sea to the Cosmo Rally Kart Academy team driver. We go back green. Hilbrand, Palumba, Longhi, Simo Puhaka coming under pressure now from Alessio Piccini. This is good to see from Alessio, finding his feet with the Birolat team. There's Emilia Denner just behind. He'll be disappointed after taking pole position 48 hours ago around this circuit. 53.555, an average speed of 102 kilometers an hour, and a top speed right there at that part of the circuit, approaching 150. Denner down the inside and puts the Birolat back a place. Piccini, who was looking to attack the Tony Kart of Simo Puhaka, loses out. Denner says, that's enough, here I come. And the Intrepid fights back. The boy from Strasbourg now into position 5. Simo next in line for the former Formula 3 racer. Behind is Lawrence Van Hoppen as well, also for the Lennox Racing team. And as Fabio Bifulco, Jamie Day, the Emirati, Kaya Sixnellis, Alex Yanku, the Romanian, Sutuno, Joseph Knop, Francesco Comanducci, Nicholas Salpangidis. And I'll get our Greek drivers right. It was actually Vasilios Karagiannis who retired. Georgios, he's still in the race. That was Sixnellis going through, just ahead of Alex Yanku, and Sutuno, the Thai driver who was actually racing in the French F4 Series, took a victory at Nogaro earlier on in the season in the French Formula 4 Racing Championship. Now he's racing in the WSK Euro Series final, the 19 Birolat of the Thai. Behind the Romanian Alex Yanku, ahead of the Czech driver Josef Knop in the 11 Tony Kart. So Hilbrand from Palumba, Longhi, Giuseppe with a 54.154. The fastest driver on the circuit at the moment. Pedro is 0.6 of a second up the road. Ricardo Longhi coming under attack from Simo Puhaka. Ricardo does not need this. He does not need to be attacked by the green machine of the Finn Simo Puhaka, who's got his own problems in the form of the fastest qualifier, Emilia Denner. It was Lawrence Van Hoppen going through ahead of Fabio Bifulco in the 79 Intrepid. And Jamie Day, Kaya Sixnellis, the Lithuanian, in the energy kart in position 10. 54.154 for Giuseppe Palumba. The gap was 0.6 of a second. Let's see if he can catch Pedro. There's Sutuno, Alex Yanku, the Romanian, ahead of Francesco Comanducci for the Drago Course Racing team. He's got by Joseph Knop in the 11 Vortex-powered Tony Kart. 54.151. Giuseppe is slowly starting to catch Pedro Hilbrand. It was in 2018 in the WSK Supermaster Series that we first heard the name Giuseppe Palumba. A star in regional races, national races, went wheel to wheel with the then international champion Marco Ardigo, led Marco, the great three-time world champion who has since retired. He was driving an Intrepid kart on that day. picked up by the Birolart team, finished second in the WSK Euro Series. He's second today. He's the fastest driver on the circuit. He would dearly love to take a victory in front of his home crowd here this afternoon. The reigning Italian champion, Giuseppe Palumba, ahead of Riccardo Longhi, who still leads the championship. 261 points to Moraine Kramer's on 242. There's confirmation in the bottom right of your screen. Palumba still third in the series for 2021. Piccini still holds in position 6. Was Vasilios Karagianis has abandoned Energy Kart. Going down the back straight. There's Alessio Piccini. Simon Puhaka is just ahead. Lorenz Van Hoppen behind. We'll see what Alessio can do in the second half of the race. As we say, it was great to see him on the podium at Adria 2 weeks ago. Of course, son of the legendary four-time Alessandro Piccini. Alessandro, his father, his mechanic, his mentor, his idol, to be perfectly honest, watching on from pit lane. As the second Intrepid goes through. There's Jamie Day from the Emirates, started the season racing in the United Arab Emirates Formula 4 Championship for the XL Motorsport team. Jamie from Dubai with a British heritage. Everyone's complaining about the heat this weekend. 32, 33 degrees here in the south of Italy, down in Dubai in the Middle East, over 50 degrees Celsius. You speak to Jamie and it's like, well, what heat? What's the problem? It's 20 degrees warmer down in the Middle East. As Emilian Denner, it looks as though he has gone by and taken third place. Indeed, he does, away from Riccardo Longhi. So this will have championship implications as they come across the line to start the second half of the final. Pedro goes through, then it's Palumba. And it's no longer Riccardo Longhi in P3. There is Denner in the Intrepid. Riccardo back to 4. What does that do to the championship? It narrows to 9 points. Riccardo Longhi is still the championship leader from Moraine Kramer's, his teammate, by just 9 points. The Birolart team, they will almost certainly finish 1, 2, 3 in the WSK Euro Series. They did in 2020. Riccardo Longhi won the title last year from Giuseppe Palumba, Alex Irlando, then racing for the Birolart team, finishing in third. Alessio Piccini, he finished third at Adria. Just to get back to that point of Alessandro Piccini, his father, of course, the legend, winning the World Championships 4 times. 1987 at Magione for DAP, 1990 at Laval in a Birol. A year later, he won the title again for Birol at Parma. And in 1993, before Alessio was born, at Val Vibrata, he took the Formula C World Championship, as it was then called, for the Kart Racing team. Alessio, he's back in P6. He was on the podium at Adria. He's 6th in the championship as well, with 5.5 laps remaining. Down the back straight, Pedro Hilbrand, the gap is 0.7 of a second. Pedro goes purple. Palumba in second place. Emilian Denner, he's up onto the podium, but nothing short of a victory would be good enough for the French driver after he went fastest in qualifying. Remember, he dominated the final round of the WSK Supermaster Series, did Emilian Denner, with a clean sweep, fastest qualifier, and dominated the final ahead of Kramer's earlier on in the season. There goes the French driver, Riccardo just behind. Simon stays P5. There's Jamie Day, Kaya Sixnella, Sutuman on the tie. Head of Alex Jankel, the Romanian. Francesco Comanducci goes by for Team Drago course. And that's the Czech driver in the 11, Tony Kart, Joseph Knopp. So the dying stages of the KZ2 final. 251 points to Riccardo Longhi, and Moraine Kramer's injured, out from the weekend on 242 points. Palumba, if he finishes second, will finish third in the championship, and Birolart would again finish 1, 2, 3 in the WSK Euro Series. As we mentioned, the CRY30, the S12 Birolart chassis, the 30mm chassis, powered by the TM, has dominated KZ International Racing for the last few seasons. There's Riccardo going through. Giuseppe in Kart 6, Riccardo in Kart 7. Alessio Piccini that we just spoke of a few moments ago in Kart 8. It is cyclical though, it wasn't too long ago that Paolo De Conto and Pedro Hilbrand on your screen, they were winning everything for CRG, and before that, Flavio Camponeschi and Marco Ardigol for the Tony Kart Racing team. Now it is the manufacturer from Lissone, north of Milan, who are leading the way in KZ2. This is the sister kart outfit. Dare I say, a la Aston Martin Mercedes style. Oh, I shouldn't have said that. It's an identical chassis. Yeah, that's probably a stretch, and that's not really fair, to be honest. It is the same chassis, the Charles Leclerc Lennox racing car, to the Birol Art, both powered by the TM. Trying to think of a more relevant, a more appropriate example. You know what I mean. The Charles Leclerc Jordan Lennox racing team with their driver Pedro Hilbrand in position 1. He's looking at taking a victory. He does a 53.991. So Pedro is the only driver to go under the 54-second bracket now. He's got 1.1 seconds ahead of Giuseppe Palumba. Remember Palumba, we spoke about his debut in WSK in 2018. He finished second on that day to the great Marco Ardigol, and he's looking at second here this afternoon. Chokes the engine, it's a warm day. They want plenty of fuel and oil flowing into the carburetor, filling the TM125cc engine, a 53.990 for Pedro. 1.5 seconds ahead of Palumba on the second last lap of the race. Comanducci goes through for Team Drago Gorse. There's the Italian in Kart 14. Ahead of the Romanian for Real Racing, Alessandro Iancu. Pedro down through the gearbox, the old turn 2, the far part of the SARNO circuit. The quickest driver on the circuit by some margin as well. 0.3 of a second from Palumba. Denner is still in position 3, the fastest qualifier, as Pedro comes across the line to get the last lap board now. The KZ2 final, the WSK Euro Series. Palumba in P2, so let's look at the championship. One more lap, and Riccardo Longhi would retain his title. He's in position 4, he's 9 points ahead of Moraine Kramers. He cannot afford to lose to the place to Simo Puhaka, who's in P5 in the Tony Kart. Pedro has a long, hard look over his right shoulder. Back to Giuseppe Palumba, who's 1.5 seconds behind. Has driven absolutely as hard as he possibly can. There goes Denner through in the 53 Intrepid kart. Longhi will miss the podium, but will take the championship in half a lap's time. Into the final corner, the checkered flag is about to wait for the Catalan. Vamos! Pedro Hilbrand wins the final round of the WSK Euro Series. Palumba P2, Denner P3. Riccardo Longhi crosses the line, position 4. Riccardo Longhi retains his title. He is the WSK Euro Series champion for 2021. Longhi has taken the title, he's defended it. A nail biter here in bizarre circumstances. Takes the championship by 251 points from Moraine Kramers on 242. And Palumba, with that second here this afternoon, is third on the podium again in the WSK Euro Series. There is confirmation of the championship. This is provisional, of course. Longhi on 251. Kramers on 242. And Giuseppe Palumba on 201 is third in the WSK Euro Series for 2021. Hilbrand has won the race though. A dominant performance here this afternoon. From pole position, takes the victory by 1.5 seconds for the Lennox Racing team. Hilbrand with the victory. Palumba on his home circuit is second. Denner finishes third, and Riccardo Longhi with 4th place is the WSK Euro Series champion for the second season in a row. Good drive from LVH, Lorenz Van Hoppen. P5 got Pulhaka in the dying stages from Piccini, Fabio Bifulco, Jamie Day, Kai Six Nellis, Sutumno, Comentucci, and Alex Yankel, the final finisher. Joseph Knopp retires on the final lap of the race. So the first podium of the afternoon about to take place in a few moments' time. Firstly for the race, Pedro, Giuseppe, and Emilian, 1, 2, 3. The Spaniard, the Italian, and then the French driver. And then the championship, it is again 1, 2, 3, 4 Birilat. They dominate the WSK Euro Series for the second year in a row. Stay with us on WSK.it, the podium presentation in just a moment. So the podium presentation about to proceed here at SARNO in just a moment. Firstly for the race, and then for the 2021 WSK Euro Series Championship. We wait for the drivers to make their way up from Parc Fermé on a hot day here at SARNO. And of course, the mini final to take place at the conclusion of this afternoon. So it will be the national anthem of Spain to be played here at SARNO for the Catalan driver, without getting too political. Giuseppe Palumba finishes in second place, the Italian, and Denner the fastest qualifier. A good result from him in position 3 here this afternoon. Will be disappointed not taking the victory, but deserves some credit after another great weekend in the 53 Intrepid Kart this weekend. The 60 Mini drivers, they're down on the grid. They're about to go out onto the circuit in a few moments' time to decide the championship. It will be a lot closer than the KZ2 category. Another brilliant entry, 225 drivers representing 50 nations from all 5 continents for this, the championship decider here this weekend. We're just about ready to get underway with the podium presentation. Firstly for the race, followed by the championship. So the final round, the final race of the KZ2 WSK Euro Series in SARNO. Firstly, the podium for the race. In third place for the Intrepid Racing Team from France, Emilian Denner. Second place for the Birilat Racing Team is the local boy, Giuseppe Palumba. A dominant winner of the final round of the WSK Euro Series. Vamos, Pedro Hilbrand. the national anthem of Spain. The podium for the final round of the WSK Euro Series for KZ2. In third place, Emilian Denner. Second, Giuseppe Palumba. And Pedro Hilbrand wins here in SARNO. Merci beaucoup, Emilia. Grazie, Giuseppe. Muchas gracias, Pedrito. The race podium. And in just a moment, we will present the championship for 2021 for the WSK Euro Series. The Birul Art team finished 1, 2, 3 in 2020, and again 1, 2, 3 in 2021. The red and white boys from Lissone absolutely dominate the 2020 WSK Euro Series. So the podium for the championship, the 2021 WSK Euro Series. In third place on 201 points, the Italian Giuseppe Palumba. In second place from the Netherlands on 242 points, Marijn Kramers. The 2020 champion successfully defends his title. Ladies and gentlemen, the WSK Euro Series champion for 2021, again, Riccardo Longhi. Third place, Giuseppe Palumba, 201 points. Marijn Kramers, second on 242 points. Riccardo Longhi takes the title by 9 points, finishing the championship on 251 points here at SARNO. Stay with us on WSK.it, the mini-final from the third and final round of the WSK Euro Series in just a moment.